Hey guys, welcome back in another videos. Well, so episode 5 has been released. I already watched it. It's called Reckoning. So I guess give my review on it. We'll go over images like usual. Yeah, so I'll give my take. So without further ado, so if you please hit that like button, comment down below, and consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any more content. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So we got image number 1. It opens up with back in the past where Captain Keyes and Dr. Halsey are visiting the Reach Life Foundation, where those two kids you see right there are actually, look, their names are actual references to, lore of the main canon. Karina and Parisa. Obviously, Karina, she's actually a close friend of Chief, who actually showed up in Hunt the Truth, and Parisa showed up in that recent Halo Infinite Memory Agent. Audio log that was released when the game came out last year. Anyway, moving on. So back on Uranus present, where Miranda has gotten off a ship and is heading down to the dig site where the larger artifact has been discovered. So nothing too much here to go off of. And moving on, so we got Captain Keyes actually picking up Miranda and telling her that this would be a good opportunity for her to prove herself to everyone, including her own mother, Dr. Halsey. Meanwhile, back at Magical, Soren and their vehicle stops working in the middle of the desert, so Soren ties up Yuan to the motorcycle wall, so she can't go anywhere while he tries to find another vehicle. That, you don't really see much of these two in this episode, so, and plus, the story hasn't really advanced all that much, so I'm like, yeah. Anyway, moving on. So back to Silver Team. Kai and I can't remember his name. Anyway, they're discussing kind of like why the Covenant are doing this, like what do they want, and this was Kai asking, and he replied with to kill us, so, and it's also to get this artifact, so we gotta get it out of their hands. So that's basically what he said. Alright, moving on. Meanwhile, outside, Kai and Chief meet up. When Chief notices her and tells her that she's not battle prep after removing her emotional barrier like he did, because he asked her why she did it, and she said because he did. So, and Chief argues that she's not combat ready because of that, and and in private, Cortana fires back like, well, you haven't been battle tested either. Chief essentially tells Cortana to, stop talking, basically, considering that he just got owned, basically. Anyway, moving on. So back at Magical, the Covenant are trying to find the source of that artifact. They manage to, by using luminaries, they realize that, it's not there anymore. But they do eventually find out where the location is later on. We'll get to that later. Anyway, moving on. So she's trying to actually get out of this predicament that she's in, but unfortunately she is unable to at the moment. So she tries to start bashing it with a rock, and eventually she breaks free. And later on, she actually does taser Soren to knock him out. Where it kind of left on a cliffhanger, like where she was about to kill him. So that's basically kind of all the development of this episode. So in regards to this story arc. So moving on. So back on Uranus 2, John talks to Captain Keyes, where it seems to have been, quite the contrast from the main canon, as these two have actually worked together for a long time. It seems that they're pretty close, as it seems that after John tells him what he saw, telling him that Halsey's been lying to him all this time, and he says, "Is this from the artifact?" And Chief is like, I remember all these things. Like, she was in my home when my parents were alive. And Key essentially says, like, your concerns are my concerns because of how long we worked together. Like, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for you, John. So he says he'll take care of this personally. Anyway, moving on. So back at the desert, there is a huge wave because the artifact is sending out some kind of signal, and that is how the Covenant find out where the larger artifact is. So anyway, moving on. So meanwhile, after talking to Keyes, Halsey and Progowski, Jacob, informs Miranda that she is off the project. So I wonder, So I imagine Halsey has something to do with it. Maybe it's kind of protecting Miranda from the whole controversy that she has to deal with concerning concerning Tony. So anyway, moving on. So we had back. After so Chief asked Cortana if she could look up anything on the Spartan 2 program, and she says she could not find any file at all, whether it's the children or the Spartan 2 program itself. So John says you don't know. Well, then he goes to Artifact again to kind of activate it so he can see more memories. Cortana tries to stop him and warns him that it could kill him. Chief doesn't care and activates the artifact anyway. And we actually literally see where he remembers being actually kidnapped by Oni at the age of 6. So that fateful night where they kidnapped those 75 children, in the main canon. So, and naturally, Chief gets pissed off and tries to attack Dr. Halsey, because of, I guess, rage due to the artifact. Fortunately for Halsey, Cortana steps in and essentially shuts Chief down. I guess somehow she's able to do that, shut down his neural implants, leaving him, rendering him, incapacitated, basically knocked out. So when Chief wakes up, he asks for Dr. Halsey, and Cortana says, I can't tell you that. And before he can address that any further, you hear a subspace rupture being detected, and the Covenant have arrived, looking for the artifact. So, and all hell breaks loose. This is where it gets really good. And my boy, we see jackals and grunts, and the grunts look so good. Straight out of the classic art style. You nailed it. You nailed it here. I love it. Anyway, moving on. And we actually get to see Pink Mist actually in live action. How freaking cool is that? That's amazing. Oh, it looks deadly as ever. I love it. I love that so much. Anyway, moving on. And wait, what? Since when have jackals been able to use energy swords? Shoot, I want them to do that in the games now. That'd be pretty awesome. Shoot, I love that. Maybe as a DLC, where there's certain bosses where you have to take down Jackal that has an energy sword and maybe buffed up. Say maybe this specific Jackal has an energy shield or something on top. But hey, who knows? 3 if you're listening, I'd like to see that at some point. So anyway, moving on. So when Miranda Keyes is in trouble, Dr. Halsey actually runs out and rescues her. So kind of actually showing that she really does care about Miranda Keyes, despite what Miranda thinks. So maybe that thought isn't so far-fetched that she was, kind of protecting Miranda. So by getting her off the project, maybe. Hey, but maybe my inception was correct on that. Maybe it truly is, but we'll see. Anyway, after John sees Kai down and out, after taking so much heavy fire, and I guess her emotions really getting the best of her, she gets knocked out. Essentially, Chief sees it and just forgets the whole dang mission and just rushes in to save her because he claimed to Halsey, I will not let her die. So anyway, moving on. So what he does, he jumps out of the Warhawk, literally hijacks a Banshee, just like in the games. Love to see it. And straight up rams it into a Phantom, completely destroying it and killing any potentially seriously endangering anyone or killing anyone within the blast radius. And it turns out some Covenant did survive. And I love the scene right here. Chief fires a few shots with a Magnum, and it just throws the hell out of it at a freaking grunt, knocking it down. I don't know why I love that. It's just so dang funny to see someone do that. Just throw a pistol at a grunt like that. It seemed to have killed him too. So you use your such brute force like that. I just find that funny. But for some reason, anyway, moving on. So as he sees an elite attacking Kai, he immediately goes he goes crazy, just bashing into him before eventually finishing him off in Gears of War style by bashing his head until he's dead. Like, just straight up murder, son. Just straight up murder. And as you can see, the effects from that, where his rage completely got the best of him, he went absolutely berserk, and you can see the elite's blood on his armor. So, oh boy, we get our first introduction to a brute. Our first introduction to a brute, and a gravity hammer at that too. Oh, that looks amazing. Like, they did a real fantastic job on the Covenant in terms of designs in the show, and I love it. Anyway, so and he seems to have the ability to kind of use the gravity hammer to pull objects to him. Who does that remind you of? It reminds you of motherfucking Tartarus. So my thinking is, could we be looking at the introduction of the brute who becomes Tartarus in this canon, Silver Canon? We'll see. And we got one final shot, where after the Covenant flee with the artifact, they drop one more surprise for Chief and the rest of the UNSC after they lose, which was a dropout containing Maki, and where her and Chief essentially have to stare down before she essentially passes out. And that is the end of the episode. Well, all I gotta say, excellent. I say that episode was definitely the best one in the show. I hope they really kick it up a notch from here on out, because that show is incredible, especially the last 15 minutes where all hell was breaking loose. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to freaking see. And it was awesome. Absolutely love it. They especially when she was going ham on them after that shot with the Banshee, man. Holy crap. Dang, I didn't realize the Banshee was that powerful enough to take down a Phantom like that. But then again, it's full collision, so. But then again, in Halo Reach, they had a Pelican destroy a freaking Scarab, so. Who knew that flying vehicles like that, that could be small, but be so powerful when destroyed like that. But damn, what a good episode. If I were to rate it, I'd probably give it I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Shame the actual wasn't longer, but damn, what a way to go out. And I really can't wait for next week's, because it looks like it could be really good. And I hope that, it continues to amp up as things go on, like I said before. So what did you guys think? Have you seen the newest episode yet? And if you did, let me know what you think. Now, I'll see y'all in the next video. Later.